Hello, my name's Ellie and we are on day 13 of this lower back pain challenge. We are going to go through quite a lot of flexion based exercises today, so basically getting our spine moving in a sort of flexion curvature forward based way, and then tomorrow we'll be looking at more extension. If you have any injuries, health conditions, just make sure that you are signed off by your health provider, health care practitioner to join in with this, and if you are going to do it anyway, to do it at your own risk. Plan for today is we're actually going to start off standing, as we often do with some roll downs. So I'll get you to pop up onto your feet. My head is going to disappear off the screen, but you don't need to see that. So we're going to have our feet about hip distance apart. If you're unsure of how wide apart that is, generally about 2 vids width in between the feet is a good way to measure it. And then you're going to have your hands down by the side of the body. Imagine you have a string on the top of your head that's sort of pulling you up nice and tall. You're going to take a breath in here, and then as you breathe out, start to tuck your chin towards your chest, and you're going to slowly, steady roll down through the spine, moving through the shoulders, moving into the mid-back. Then everything just drop and hang down for a second, keeping a little micro bend at the knees, or you can have a really big bend if you want to. Just let everything drop down. Take a breath in here, and then on your breath out, you're going to soften your knees, tuck your tailbone, and slowly, steady restack. Rebuild the spine vertebra by vertebra until you are all the way back to standing. Let's do that twice more. Curving, forward, flexing through the spine. So I'm not looking for a straight back here. I really want like a super curvy. I'm always looking to see how curved we can make the spine without sort of just shooting the hips back. Really try and move the spine. Let everything drop for a moment, and then softening it back up, starting with that tailbone pointing down towards the floor. Slowly peeling it up. We're going to stay down on the next one. So last chance standing for now, to just really try and create as much flexion, as much curve through the spine. It's actually quite hard, I think. Okay, and just let everything drop, let everything hang. If you want to go for a little bend and straighten of the legs just to sort of ease into the hamstrings, go ahead. Otherwise, just feeling that nice pull on the back of the legs. Cool. All right, come onto your hands and your knees. So we're going to go through some cat-cows, but we're really going to focus on the flexion opposed to the extension part of this today. So I want you to take a breath in, just start to arch the lower back. So we'll start with that extension, pointing the tailbone and the crown of the head up towards the sky. And then as we push the floor away, instead of just sort of like coming through this position, sort of just going through the motions of it, I really want you to think about tucking your tailbone down towards the floor. So you can let the head drop with this if you want, but I really want you to focus on this lower back part. So you're really sort of thinking about tucking underneath here, opposed to just sort of like pushing up and not really thinking about how much you can sort of arch and round through the lower back. We'll just do that twice more. So take a breath in, you're going to arch. And then you're going to round. Think about leading with the tailbone, really making space through the lower back, stretching everything out. Good, let's go for one more. Breath in. And leading with the tailbone. Fantastic. And then when you cannot tuck any further, I want you to take your hips back. So now you're sort of going to lose that tuck. Take the hips back, slide the hands forward. I'm really sorry, someone's honking their horn outside, so there's lots of beeping going on. They've stopped now. All right, take your hips back, hands forward. There may be a certain amount of sort of curvature with this, and that's okay. We are looking for quite a lot of length, but with the lower back, there will be, you can kind of see it through my lower back, there's a bit of a curve here, and that's kind of what we're after. Really lengthening and making space in the lower back. Okay, bring yourself through to a seated position. So we're just going to have a little stretch out of the hamstrings to enable us to nicely and sort of comfortably do the next exercise. So you're going to have your left leg out long. You're going to take your right foot over the front of the left thigh. This is ideally going to stop the back of that left knee from popping up off the floor. So really try and just let that leg relax down. You're going to take your hands up towards the sky, take a nice big deep breath in, and then as you exhale, we're going to dive it forward. Try and lean from your pelvis, don't flex on this one, no flexion. You can try and lean forward and then place your hands down wherever is comfortable. So that you might be able to get a hold of the foot, keeping the spine long. You might be more sort of here, keeping the spine long. But what I'm looking for is a pull in the back of this leg. I'm just going to hold it there for about 20 to 30 seconds. Make sure you're breathing. Brilliant, and then sit yourself up. Let's switch it over. So you're going to take this other leg long, flex the foot. This foot's going on top, not directly above the knee, just sort of above, so it's more on the quad muscle here. Sit up nice and tall, take your breath, and on your exhale you're diving it forward. You're getting hold of the ankle, the calf, the foot. Try to keep the spine long, avoiding this flexion for now. We more just want to get into these muscles here, get those a little bit more lengthened before we move on to our spinal flexion exercise for today. Okay, so you're going to sit yourself up. You're going to have your legs about hip distance apart, so say my hips are about that wide apart, not too wide, not too narrow. And then from here, I'm going to put my hands behind my head. This is going to burn or engage the shoulders slightly as well, so don't worry if that starts to happen. But my hands are going behind my head. And it may feel really difficult to just sit in a right angle like this. That's completely normal. Don't worry, a lot of us don't do this position regularly, so don't panic if you're like, this is already sucking. You're going to start to curve the spine. And as you curve the spine, I want you to point your toes. Space to point my toes. And just slowly try and make like a C shape. So I'm trying to bring my head above my pelvis. And I'm really trying to curve. So we're looking for that flexion. And then I'm going to sit really tall. Gently press my head back into my hands. Lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Elbows wide and flex the feet. And this is going to create a slight flossing motion through the nerves in our lower back as we flex and extend. Really find that flexion. It'd be quite tempting to just sort of come back, which we will actually do in a second, but for now, just try and keep your head above your pelvis. And then as you exhale, flexing the feet, looking up towards the sky, extending from the chest. We're going to go for 4 more of these. Point the toes. And flex, looking up. 3 more, pointing. And flexing. 2 more, pointing. And flexing. What's more, pointing. And flexing. Now we're going to do this again. We've got 3 more to go. This time, if you want to, we can develop it to bring yourself all the way down to the floor. So just make sure you've got a little bit of space behind you. So on your next curve, pointing the toes, curving, curving, curving. Elbows can just slightly pull in as you take your lower back, your mid back. You're going to disappear, upper back, down towards the floor. And then as you come back up, you're going to keep your toes pointed until you're back up to seated. And then once you're back up to seated, you can start to flex the feet and lift the chest. So we're just going to do this twice more. Curving, pointing the toes. So we're basically trying to involve the abdominals a little bit now. Let everything relax down and then curving it up. Keep those toes pointed. Slowly trying to peel it up. Elbows coming wide, sitting tall. Flex the feet, lift the chest once more, curving. Oh, that's nice. And rolling it up. Fabulous. Good, okay. And then relax. We're just going to come through to a forward fold. So as we were at the start, back onto your feet. Let everything just drop and hang. There will likely be a little bit of curvature going on through your lower back. That's fine. Really just let everything drop down. Take a breath in. And then on your breath out, softening the tailbone down towards the floor, softening the knees. Restack, rebuild your spine with that flexion for the rest of the day. Standing up nice and tall, nice and mobilized. And we will leave it there for today. Have a fantastic rest of your day.